Interesting the way this camera works. All right, we're live. What a mess. All right, so once again, I have a video loaded over there at BitChute where I can speak freely and use terms that will get me flagged or bumped off of YouTube. But I loaded that thing up already, so it's sitting there as we speak. It talks about the fact that what you're seeing right now is more than just Republican and Democrat. What you're seeing is the attempted overthrow of our invisible overlords, who are becoming visible. These pedophile Satanists, and see, up until quite recently, calling them Satanists or Luciferians that do blood sacrifice and are involved in child porn and organ trafficking, that was crazy talk. But it's finally starting to seep into the consciousness that no, it's not crazy talk. This is exactly what's going on, and you're going to see more and more of it. This next week should be interesting, or the next 2 weeks. Thousands, like 2,000 pages from the Epstein case, and then also there's D-Class supposedly coming on, and JFK, and oh man, all kind of fun stuff happening here in the next little while as they expose this Satanist cabal that has infiltrated not just the United States, but all over the planet. And these guys are going to be taken down in parts and pieces over the next couple of weeks. So do me a favor and go over to BitChute. I'll have the link below after this video is done. And subscribe. I have like 65 subscribers on BitChute. And surprisingly, I have something like 1,000, I don't know, what, 1,700 or something like that here on YouTube. Awesome. Also, you might want to hit my Patreon just for fun. I've been doing quite a bit of research, and I try to bring you some information, but you know, that's a total option. See, and I've never tried to make money off of advertising and doing stuff here on YouTube for the exact reason that that's how they control you, right? You look at all the different guys on YouTube that get demonetized and had, you know, worked their butts off to build a platform and bring you information and get cool guests on to interview and so forth, and then they get you know, demonetized and slaughtered in no time, because it's YouTube, and YouTube is not your friend when it comes to free speech and freedom of information. But what you will see, and I've been watching some interesting videos, is now people are starting to collaborate and corroborate their information and so forth from one person to another that's doing research on this crazy topic. And then you're seeing more and more of these guys getting arrested, and you're going to see more and more arrests, and it's swirling. There is full panic in DC because all of these guys are related and working together. What's up? What's up is the fact that it's going down. It's definitely coming to pass. But it's coming to pass slowly but surely, because what they're doing is drying up the adrenochrome sources, drying up the traffic sources where they were making money. You know, $1 billion of cocaine off of a JP Morgan ship. I mean, look around at all the various drug busts, cessation of wars, and, you know, stomping the ISIS caliphate, on and on. What they're doing is just pinching off sources of revenue, sending the troops home. That's the other thing that's happening. MS-13 and other criminals that were being targeted by ICE. Those are criminals. Those are not refugees that were being thrown out. Those are people that were known criminals being tossed out of the country or imprisoned. And then same thing. They're going after. I mean, they're going after the troops. They're going after the money. They're going after because the wealthy and these nefarious people, they don't commit the murders themselves. They pay people to do it. And then they pay all manner of other people to cover up the crimes. The idea is, the idea is that they are slowly but surely moving forward. And if you look at the guys who are involved in all of this, they are looking rather haggard. They're looking rather terrible, because the vice is starting to tighten. The grip is starting. They can feel those fingers on the hand around their throat, because they are going to be exposed. And people it blows my mind consistently that people, they'll argue over Epstein, whether it's Clinton or Trump or whatever. Well, if it wasn't for Trump, there wouldn't have been an arrest of Epstein. It's as simple as that. if Hillary Clinton had made it into office, you wouldn't have heard boo more about Epstein, and it would have been business as usual. Trump, on the other hand, has, and if you watch enough video when it comes to like old interviews of Trump on Letterman, and when he used to be on late night, and before they were calling him a racist and all this other stuff, because he was never a racist until such time he's around for president. And again, what amuses me most is that people think I'm some kind of Trump fan. Trump, not your friend, but he is the enemy of your enemy. Make no mistake. And they are taking down the pedophiles, and one after another. And he has said on numerous occasions that the child trafficking, the human traffic, needs to stop. And wrote executive orders, and they knew he was serious and did everything they could to keep this guy from getting into office. And then when he got into office, they've done everything they can to try and get him out of office using the mind control techniques on the people. And it has worked on some. But as it turns out, the I can't read all of them, but the Democrats, and not just Democrats. Again, it's not just Democrat versus Republican. This is so much bigger than just Democrats and Republican. That's why I have that hour-long video over there, and I'm going to keep this one short and go over to BitChute, and I will admonish everyone on YouTube. You make money for YouTube so they can censor us, right? Come on, cut it out. Just move. I know this is the public forum, but you know what? We need to make YouTube the same as MySpace or cable TV or because they got too big for their britches. And again, don't think that the government wants your free speech rights. They don't want us cooperating. They don't want us sharing information. They don't want us talking freely and speaking freely to each other. And this is the other thing that happens here on YouTube now, because of the AI and the censorship that's going on here. People will self-censor. Right? People, instead of saying how they feel or use certain words, they won't use those words because they know their video will get flagged, or they'll get demonetized, or they'll get a strike, and then right? Okay. So if that's the case, it's time to move. Like I saw a meme recently, if it's time to hide your guns, it might be time to use your guns. But the idea that if it's time to, if you have to censor yourself and you can't speak the way you want to, might want to move to some place where you can speak freely. In my case, it's BitChute. There are other platforms, but the point is that when they're censoring your free speech, that might be the time to go. That might be the time to make something new. Instead of whining and complaining about it, let's just make a new place where we can all gather and speak freely. All right, I talk about all kind of fun stuff on that video, and there's a few, there's a few errors and a few things where I wish I would have said this instead of that, but overall, I like that video quite a bit, and there's going to be more of this because it's coming down. You don't seem to understand. There are colonists. Who these people are, entities, creatures, and all the different theories and so forth. I mean, there's all kind of fun opinions and so forth, from lizard people to breakaway civilizations to all manner of theory. But the idea is that the men that are fighting, or the men that are trying to expose the pedophilia and these insane rituals from these Saturnists, and understand, they didn't go away. And your history, if you think your news is bad, your history is worse. The dates, how long ago things were happening. I mean, there's all kind of subterfuge, and the why behind that is because if they control your past, they control your future. If you believe that it's always been this way, you're more likely to accept what is and think that you can't change it. But you can, and we are. And all you have to do is educate yourself and educate others. Learn what the words mean. Teach others what the words mean. Teach others about statutory law and so on, Sedicate trusts and birth certificates and all that kind of stuff. But also, and if that's, you don't want to go that road, also educate others on the fact that these satanic pedophiles, these that worship Saturn, have never gone away. The largest, the hugest Baalbek and all these other, I mean, with the huge megaliths and so on, they were worshiping Saturn. What did they do in those temples? Right? Were they just Saturnella dancing around and having fun and partying and so forth? Yeah, they were doing that, but they were also, and see, that's the whole thing when they try to make Saturnella sound so fun. But they were also sacrificing children. And the god Saturn demands blood sacrifice. The other thing to understand is the god Saturn, that construct, is supposedly the bringer of justice. Justice is coming, and justice is coming for those. Doesn't matter. That's the trick. Those that worship Saturn, they will also find justice because he is the bringer of justice. So they think that because they were offering blood sacrifice and doing these horrible, incorrigible things to children, babies, that they will be spared justice. But no, they will be, justice will be brought to them. That's the whole thing. Anyway, we can go to philosophy on another video at some other time. But this is just saying, look, I have a video on BitChute. It's sitting there right now. I'll put the link below. Subscribe. Well, you can subscribe here because I'll still put a few short videos here, but the long hour and a half thing is over on BitChute, and I'm not going to put longer videos here anymore because why do I want to reward YouTube for censorship? I don't know why any of you would want to either. And if you're expecting the government to come down with more regulation and more law to make YouTube, force YouTube to leave videos up and change their ways, you might be waiting for a while because the wheels of government turn slowly. I mean, you know, it could be years before that actually all happens, just like it could be years before Hillary Clinton finally finds the gallows, or the gallows find Hillary Clinton, depending on how you look at it. But it's coming. There are many, many people who are going to be exposed for just being ridiculous when they, I mean, actually, that's not a good term. Just being Satanist pedophiles, just being horrifying humans. But I mean, they're ridiculous because really, you're going to trade one life. And see, that's the thing. If you guys are in the belief system that says we're only here once and so on, well, if you're only here once, then why not rape children and get whatever you can and become famous and so forth and have 80 years of whatever it is that floats your boat? If you don't believe that there's going to be any consequence for that. I'm in the family that believes that there is consequence for your actions here that have future. See, and that's the thing, coming from the mathematics and the physics, it's all happening at once. Right? It's all these different dimensions, realities, and all this other stuff that they're talking about. It's all very difficult for us to perceive because it's going on all at the same time. And the other part of it that is amusing to me now, it becomes very clear, is that we can't see into the ultraviolet spectrum. These things don't work. They don't see into the ultraviolet spectrum. When we look into the ultraviolet spectrum, we see nothing. There's darkness. So being clever, we assume there's nothing there. Right? Same thing in the other end of the spectrum. And there are many religions and that talk about the jinn and so forth. In the infrared spectrum, the other end of the scale, we can't see down there either. And because we can't see that, we assume there's nothing there. But there might be something there. I'm just saying. And the idea that there's a lot more going on here than meets the eye. But the invisible overlords, whoever they are, whatever entities they are, there are not many of them. There seems to be only a very few of them. And what they do is corrupt the rest of us, humanity, into fighting with each other and killing each other and all these crazy religions fighting with each other and so forth, instead of understanding that there's only one of us here. There's one mind, one humanity, and we should get along and do some of the things that have been taught to you in the quote-unquote religions of peace, where it comes to love and forgiveness and so forth, service and so on, right? Love self, love others, forgive self, forgive others. And the only way to serve self is to serve others. How convenient. Okay, go check out the video over there and put some comments down and so on. And like I said, if you want to hit my Patreon, that's awesome. I'm up to like $25 a month. Or something like that. And I've got like 1,700 subscribers here, but I've only got like 65 subscribers over there. So hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button over here so you get notified here when I make videos and post them over there. And I will talk to you later, crime stoppers. E pluribus unum, educate self, educate others. I'm telling you, the 100 monkey effect, whether you believe it or not, it's starting to catch on, because I believe some of you are starting to notice that your friends and family are slowly but surely kicking and screaming, waking up to the fact that these others do in fact sacrifice children, do in fact drink blood, are in fact in favor of abortion in the 9th month, or calling it an abortion even after the baby is born alive. And anyway, I get into that and more. It's a long video, and you know me, I tend to ramble, but at the same time, I hope it brings some stuff up for you to think about and do research on. All right, thanks for all the comments here, and I will talk to you guys very, very soon. I'll be trying to make more videos because there's just so much going on. Like Ferris Bueller says, life moves pretty fast, and if you don't stand up and pay attention and look around, it might pass you by because things are happening rapidly now. And all of their techniques and so forth to keep us confused and fighting with each other and are being put into effect. But they're in full panic mode. They're making mistakes, and they've lost control of narratives. They are going to be exposed. I believe that I'll make some unpleasant predictions over there, not here, because it'll be considered hate speech and so forth. But the idea that when you know, like how a smoker, you ever meet a smoker who quit smoking and then they can't stand other smokers and they can't stand cigarette smoke and they get really adamant about it? Well, that's how some of these Democrats are going to be when they find out that they've been duped by pedophiles. They're going to be pissed, and just stay out of their way and let them do the crazy things that Democrats do, because they're going to turn on their own and eat their own soon enough. And you're going to see this in person, in real time over the next few years. Just mark my words. All right, I will talk to you soon, crime stoppers. Yeah, stop the crimes and persecute these pedophiles. Damn it, find out about them and then understand that there are things that you can do. But trying to inform your corrupted government officials and certain law enforcement is not going to be the plan. The plan is to expose them one after another, and make it clear to everyone involved that these people exist and that it needs to come, like Trump says, that trafficking needs to come to a halt. All right, e pluribus unum. Talk to you soon. Oops.